We are now 55 days away, 55, from the start of the NFL season and the Eagles kicking off their title defense. So I ask you, on this Football Friday, why does Nick Sirianni not get elite head coach respect? We always talk about Jalen Hurts' lack of respect. Well, Nick Sirianni is not getting it, so we're going to talk about that. Phillies, big win on Wednesday. Break out the bats. Is Bryce Harper back? Struggled since his return from the injured list. Looks like he's pretty okay now after Wednesday afternoon's game. Trade rumors heating up as we're about to enter the MLB All-Star break. A lot of big names floating with the Phillies. Are all of the Phillies prospects on the table in the right deal? Trending in the AM. We are live, taking your thoughts and opinions on all these topics and so much more in 30 seconds. And a very good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Wherever you're watching, Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, do me that favor. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. And, of course, subscribe to the STT Sports Network. If you're watching over on Twitter, great comment. But please head over to the YouTube page as well. Subscribe and like over there as well. Let's build those algorithms up on this great Friday. And we've got a jammed-packed episode, but we can't even get started till you hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons, guys. So, jam-packed. Talking Eagles and Phillies mainly today. Eagles because we're getting so close to the season and we see so much disrespect going Nick Sirianni's way now, just like the Jalen Hurts hate. And the poll question of the day over on YouTube: where is Nick Sirianni in your head coaching rankings? Option A is number 1. Option B is number 2 or 3. Option C is 4 through 7. Option D is 8, 9, or 10. So please vote on the YouTube page as well on our poll. You know, there's a lot going on with that Nick Sirianni and whether he's an elite head coach or not. And I think there's a lot of disrespect going his way. So we're going to cover a lot of that. Obviously, the Phillies have 3 more games till the All-Star break next week. Bryce Harper seems to have broken out of his slump. Not really sure if he has or not. But it's a conversation to be had. And obviously there are a lot of rumors swirling on the hot stove with the Phillies and potential trades. The question is, how many prospects are you willing to risk and for how big of an all-in move are you willing to go? Everybody hates the idea of trading prospects. Then all of a sudden, in the last 24 hours, I see people suggesting trading the people that I've been talking about trading for months, years. And now it's okay. I think it's something to talk about. So we're going to dive right into it. We're going to talk about all this and more. You never know. It is Friday, so we're going to dive right into the comments. Anthony, good morning. Nick is clearly number 1. Well, I don't know if he's clearly number 1. Andy Reid is probably the best active head coach in football. His tenure with 2 organizations, the Eagles and the Chiefs, puts him as one of the 5 or 10 best coaches of all time. In my opinion, I know he's up there in the top 5 wins all time because of that tenure. He's got the Super Bowls. He's got the playoff appearances. But I don't think you can make an argument that he's not in the top 3. I don't think there's a coach outside of Andy Reid that I would definitely, hands down, take outside. And honestly, at this point, I'd probably take Nick Sirianni over Andy Reid as well. But I understand people that think Andy Reid's the best. So I don't think it's clear-cut number 1. It's pretty damn close, though. Good morning, Booch. The Booch is loose. Go all in at the trade deadline. I agree. Go all in, 100%. Good morning, Adam. Happy Friday to you as well. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Peanut. He says, Sirianni's a Super Bowl winning coach. Hurts is Super Bowl winning and Super Bowl MVP. Why do they still doubt it? Sports world is either stupid or jealous. How about both, Peanut? How about they're both stupid and jealous? Isn't that a possible explanation right there? Both stupid and jealous. Like I'm looking at, there was a list, I think it was the PFF list a couple weeks ago, but then Joe Giglio or one of the guys over on WIP put out his list. It's right here on my Twitter page. Joe Giglio. He had Reed 1, Sean McVay 2, Kyle Shanahan 3, John Harbaugh 4, Sean Payton 5, Jim Harbaugh 6, Dan Campbell 7, Nick Sirianni 8. Now, most of the other lists have Mike Tomlin where Dan Campbell is and Nick Sirianni at 8. First off, the John and Jim Harbaugh are both overhyped. They haven't won anything in a long time. Mike Tomlin has not won anything in a long time. Dan Campbell, while I think a very good coach, isn't on Nick Sirianni's level. Kyle Shanahan, a lot of hype for one Super Bowl appearance. McVay, I know, is a well-respected coach. So if you want to put Reed 1, McVay 2, Nick Sirianni 3, I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. Sean Payton, I mean, you could put him in the top 5 or 6, but you can't put Sean Payton at this point ahead of Andy Reid or ahead of Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni, in the last 4 years, has that top winning percentage, more wins, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 4 play. How many head coaches on this list, Andy Reid 1, Nick Sirianni, have made the playoffs all the last 4 years, have made multiple Super Bowls, and won a title? Andy Reid, Nick Sirianni. If you want to talk about in sports, well, Jalen Hurts doesn't do anything. The talent around him elevates Jalen Hurts. I don't like it. But you can't say that about the coach. The coach has got to pull everything together. People constantly make excuses while the Eagles win. And it's kind of frustrating. What's up, Rick? Good morning to you. Phillies got to go all in. Prospects are just that. Get already proven players. See, here's the thing, Rick. I've been saying this since the start of all this. Years and years ago, I've been saying that on this show. We're in our 4th or 5th year doing this morning show. I've been saying prospects. In 2023 at the deadline, when there was a chance that Shohei Ohtani was available as a rental, I'm like, trade Andrew Painter and figure out if you can keep Ohtani later. And I got laughed at. Now that Andrew Painter is struggling in AAA, now all of a sudden he's okay to trade because he's had 2 bad months. Not even 2 bad months. The last month bad. And now you want to trade him? Well, when his value has dipped? Like, that's the thing that's annoying me. Everybody, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, we got to trade everybody. Well, where was everybody saying this 2 years ago, 2 months ago? It's kind of crazy, but I agree with you. You go all in. Andy is a great head coach, but if I was starting a team today, yeah, I absolutely agree with this theory and thought process, and that is why, Anthony, I would go the same way. But if you're just saying straight up, who's the best in the league right now, overall results, you would have to go Andy Reid, has had the greater career at this point. 2 Super Bowl appearances, winning seasons every year, and a number of future Hall of Famers. What else can he possibly do to shut the media up? I don't know. The Eagles are constantly the butt of the joke for clicks, for a lot of reasons. But you know what? I get the Jalen Hurts hate to an extent. I understand why people don't like him. But Nick Sirianni, head coaches are graded differently than quarterbacks. And all he does is win. Like, there is no, like, quarterbacks, you don't like his stats because Jalen Hurts doesn't throw for 50,000 yards and 75 touchdowns a year. Okay. You want to say Justin Herbert's better? I heavily disagree. But I understand you're using statistical analysis versus the winning percentage. But the coach has one statistic: your wins and losses and playoff success. So 2 wins and losses and your playoff success. Nobody's more successful over the last 4 years than Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni. Absolutely, this is win now season for the Fighting Phils. And that is why everybody, you know me, Rick, I love Justin Crawford. He's my top prospect in the minors for the Phillies. Hell, if you're not going to call him up, trade him for Stephen Kwan. Go for it. Why not? Put him in a deal. We look back at the last 20, 25 years of prospects we traded away. Carlos Carrasco was average, mediocre, had a great personal story overcoming cancer and all, but that's it. Remember when Sixto Sanchez was untouchable? Kyle Drabeck was untouchable. Michael Taylor, Don Brown, Lou Marson. We can go on and on with the list of prospects that we could not trade that became nothing in MLB. So you trade any of them. If you can go get Quan, if you can go get Chase, if you can go get Duran, if you can go get any of these guys and others out there, you do it. And you do it without worrying one bit. In the right deal. I'm not trading Andrew Painter for Griffin Jacks, but I would trade anybody. Everybody is always on the table. In my opinion, there's no such thing as untouchable. Sorry, you don't pay the bills. The pizza shop pays the bills. Had a last-second big order come in. Actually, I got a last-second big order today, so we're not even going the full 90 minutes today, just so you know. F this debate, Jeffrey Lurie found them both. Found what both? Found both Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts? Nick Sirianni and Andy Reid, yeah. So Nick Sirianni, Jeffrey Lurie is the greatest owner. I say he's the greatest owner in all of sports. Every prospect is on the table, has to be. It's time to win it all for the Phillies. Absolutely, Rick. And so, again, and I think you would agree with me, every prospect's on the table in the right deal, right? In the right situation, every prospect is on the table, right? Like, I know there's a lot of rumors about Cleveland, about wanting to move Emmanuel Chase and Steven Kwan, and the Phillies are linked to both those guys. You get a gold glove outfielder that hits for a pretty high average, under control through 27. Emmanuel Chase, elite closer, third in the Cy Young voting last year. You have him in control for 2 years, 152 saves over the last 3.5 years. I would put Andrew Painter, Justin Crawford, any top prospect you want for both those guys, absolutely. Done. No problem. And then you'll start seeing me get hyped, Rick. You'll start seeing me get hyped and maybe agreeing with you that this is a Super Bowl team or a World Series team. These are the same pundits who continue to get everything wrong. The best coach is the one who holds the trophy until it is taken. He is already the best Eagles coach. I agree. Nick Sirianni is the best. He's the best coach. He edges out Andy Reid because he's gotten to the Super Bowl twice. He's won the championship. Doug Peterson won the first one, but that ended quickly. Now, this is a big year for Nick Sirianni in Eagles lore because after Doug Peterson won his Super Bowl, it just started to go snowball downhill, and he was never able to right the ship. If it goes downhill even a little bit this year, how quickly does he right the ship? They will regret trading Crawford big time. The team is old and desperately needs useful energy. I mean, maybe. Anthony, let's be honest here for a second. Justin Crawford has all the skill set. I love the potential that Justin Crawford shows. I do. But how many times have we said this about minor league prospects in the outfield or anywhere in the field? I mean, this is a story as old as time. We've got great prospects. We don't trade them, or we wait too long to trade them. And then you become nothing. I mean, there's no guarantee that it translates to the big leagues. The Philadelphia Phillies have won 2 World Series in 3,000 years. They're the losingest franchise in the history of sports. You've got a team that can contend for a title right now. You worry about 5 years from now, in 5 years. You try to win a title right now, and you do that. If Justin Crawford is the key piece to get Chase and Quan, who Quan's only 27 years old, under team control for several years, you go and you do it. And then you go from there. Marsh back in center field, Quan in left field. You're good. Your outfield is solidified then. To be fair to Andrew Painter, he is working on honing his secondary pitches right now. Absolutely great. I am, of all people, I am not out on Andrew Painter. But I feel like in a trade scenario, fans are only wanting to trade him because they see his ERA over the last month. I was willing to trade him 2 years ago when he was dominating, when he was one of the top prospects in all of baseball. He still is. Now you might get, not pennies on the dollar, but you only might get 75, 80% value for him at this point because of how he's pitched. And that's not what you want to do. Andrew Painter's on the table, but only in a major deal. I don't even know if I would include him. Maybe I would let him be the centerpiece with a bunch of low-level prospects for Chase and Quan, maybe. But I don't even know if Chase and Quan combined with enough. Like I see people saying, give me Painter and Crawford for Chase and Quan. Now, I'm not doing that. I would include one maybe top 10 prospect, and that's it. Hurts is good at handoffs. Well, you're good at typing idiotic things. Sixto Sanchez was only untouchable until they realized he didn't take care of his body or health seriously. It was over for him when he came in overweight. Well, what was the excuse with Kyle Drabeck or Jesse Biddle or any of the other pitching prospects we traded away over the years? Winning a championship is exactly what it's all about. Prospects are just players. We don't watch play at a major league level. Championships is that. And see, the thing is, maybe if we've won 4, 5, 6 World Series, we might feel differently. But we won twice. The Phillies are one of the original 8 baseball teams. So why are we worried about 5 years from now when right now is our best chance to win one? I know Kyle Drabeck was supposed to, the baby aces. Do you remember the baby aces coined of our minor league system? Not one of those baby aces became anything. Hurts outplayed Patty. Josh couldn't do it, and Joe Blow couldn't do it. I get the defense played a major role, but when Barkley was kept in check, Hurts took that step. Absolutely. Jalen Hurts, elite. Nick Sirianni, elite. And vote on the poll, people that are watching. We got a poll run. Where is Nick Sirianni in your head coaching rankings? Look. Results. Win-loss championship results are all that matters. The Eagles. And see, here's the difference between the Eagles and the Phillies. Phillies, I'm willing to trade the prospects. Now, the Eagles have had a lot of success over the last 8 to 10 years. 2 titles, multiple championship appearances. So that's why, remember the rumor, I don't know if he signed or not. I thought I saw it, but not substantiated by like Schefter. TJ Watt for Nolan Smith in a draft pick. Well, I don't need to risk the future right now because I got faith in this team getting it done as it is, and they've done it recently. Now, Andrew Painter's on the table because the Phillies haven't done it anytime recently. Pennies on the dollar is correct. We sat on a prospect, and what did that do for us? Nothing. Exactly. Now, I would hate to lose Justin Crawford. I would hate to lose Andrew Painter. But I will not be, Rick. I'll be doing 2 things if we win a World Series. Okay? Well, I'll be doing one thing and not one thing. One thing I'll be doing if we win a World Series is apologizing to Rick and everybody that I doubted the Phillies with. Okay? The second thing I won't be doing is thinking about Andrew Painter or Justin Crawford because we traded them away. Is Anthony a Johnny? What? Who are you? Got best line, yes. So we built a great team. Chris Goddard, man, K1, I'm kicking myself in the ass right now. He was in my model at like 6th best player this week, and I had him in 3 lineups, and I backed him out. I totally went against my research on Chris Goddard this week. I will say this: I do have a very nice outright bet on Harry Hall and Matthew Fitzpatrick, 2nd and 3rd place right now. But God, I did not know Chris Goddard was going to shoot a 61 today. God damn, that breaks my heart. But I think he was 6th or 7th in my model this week, and he didn't make it anywhere on my card. And it's literally kicking me in the ass right now for this one, K1. I knew I should be invested in Goddard this week. He's not going to win the event. You mark my words, he won't win it. But in a DFS standpoint, he'd be scoring me a hell of a lot of points right now. Saquon is a legit player and represents everything this team doesn't have. Seriously overvalued roster. Like, seriously. Great defense, hits for average, gets on base. Here's a question for you, Nooms. Say they do find a way to land Steve Quan, and he's still young, still under team control for this year, next year, and the following year. Would you back Quan in the 2-hole or the 9-hole? Saw a lot of people saying you go Turner 1, Quan 2. Also, you put him at 9 and help turn the lineup over. I think there's an interesting conversation to be had there. Eagles' edge unproven. So where are they unproven? Nolan Smith is a breakout star. Jalix Hunt, rising star. We got the greatest defensive tackle in football, so it doesn't matter. Trust your fundamentals. I don't trust my fun. With the amount of losing I've done in golf betting over the last 10 weeks, I don't trust myself at all. Was coming hard to the paint on them Phillies. Yeah. But anyway, where would you put I don't even know. So the 4 main names for the Phillies that I keep seeing a lot of talk on are Quan, Chase, Duran, and Jax. Jax would be kind of like in my opinion, a fallback guy. Solid addition, but to the bullpen, but nothing that would change anything up. Okay. He wouldn't really he'd be taking over Jordan Romano's spot, basically. The Emmanuel Chase thing to me is the one. Under team control for several years, an elite closer. Exactly what we need. What other prospects would be the different makers that are out there? And that's a question. Crawford has done nothing in the majors. Painter has done nothing in the majors. But Clace and Clace, I keep wanting to say Chase. Clace and Quan have. Make the moves, trade the prospects. Yeah, I mean, we're coming up on the All-Star break. We got 3 games left against the Padres this weekend out in San Diego. And then after that's the All-Star break. I fully expect by the end of next week, at least one move made by Dave Dombrowski. Whether it's the big one or not, I don't know. Now, from what I've read, Cleveland is playing hardball on Quan and Chase, or Clace, Quan and whatever his name is. And that the Phillies are the only team that have the bullets to fire to get those 2 players in the Painter, the Crawford, the Millers of the world. Does a Mick Abel, Aiden Miller get those 2 guys as your centerpieces? Maybe you throw Marsh. Like, I actually think Marsh has had quietly a very good season, Brandon Marsh, in his situation. Since his injury, he's pitched really well. Maybe that pushes him over the top, though. Brandon Marsh, still a young, controllable player. That would mean you'd have to keep Kepler around a little bit longer. Phil, I think speed, defense, and hitting for contact all transfer the majors better than just power. Safer bet than most prospects. I mean, I think that's a fair assumption to make. But you're willing. So here's the thing. Here's how I'll break it down to you, Anthony. Let me see if I can get these words out the way that they're coming in. Like, I'm seeing this image in my head on how to explain this to you. Let's see if it comes out. All right, right now, as they stand, just say, these are just made-up numbers. The Phillies have a 50% chance of winning the World Series, okay? Okay? You trade Crawford and get Chase and Quan, okay? You've got a 90% chance of winning the World Series. You're willing to give up that much higher percentage chance of winning the World Series because in 3 or 4 years, Crawford might be really good, possibly he'll be really good. To me, I think that's crazy. I'm taking the chance on the win now because you don't know what this team's going to be like in 3-4 years. That's just the way I look at it. Emmanuel Clace so far has been playoff bedshit that you could see in his eyes real time. The fear while pitching. Buyer beware on him. All right, well, that's actually interesting because I looked at all his regular season numbers. I did not go into the playoff numbers, and I think that's a fair thing to think about. And if he was struggling in the playoffs in a city like Cleveland, how will he do in a city like Philadelphia? That's a fair thing to say. All right? Absolutely. So then who are you going to go get as your closer? It's Clace. Okay, so it's not even Clace or Chase. It's Clace. Gotcha. Maybe Mason Miller and Brent Rooker from the A's would be a monumental move. So we talked about Brent Rooker a lot last year, too, because he was on the table last year as well. Mason Miller is – I don't know what Mason Miller's numbers are this year. I'll write it down and think about it and put it in the notes. Brent Rooker, first off, would be huge for the lineup. But, again, it presents another issue, Rooker. He's not an outfielder. So you're going to have to understand if you go get Brent Rooker, that Kyle Schwarber is going to have to play left field at least half the time. You're going to have Rooker and Schwarber platooning in left field, Rick, if you go that route, which that takes our already bad defense and makes it that much worse. So that's my concern with Brent Rooker. The bat, no, it's the defense and what it does to the alignment of the defense. You know, if we already have Schwarber, we have Harper, we have Bohm, we've got Castellanos, a bunch of guys that play the field that should probably be DHs. Do we need another one of those guys? Now, if you go get me Quan in one deal and Mason Miller in another deal, sure. Now we're talking World Series again. I think Miller or Clase, although those numbers in the playoffs sound bad, I'm a very happy man. Trade Quan and Clace. Phil can't pronounce. Am I not saying Quan right either? Am I not saying Quan? Is it not Quan? Yeah. You just want the guys I can't. Brett Rooker and Mason Miller, they're too easy to say. All right, you want Quan and Clace. I'm just going to say Clace. I wish I could trade Nick. I would love. You got to upgrade the other side, but upgrading left field is way more of a priority, Anthony, than upgrading right field right now. Hurts is the luckiest guy in sports. I wish there was a way to demonstrate that to Phil. No, you're completely and totally insane on this Friday morning. Would you rather Quan or Rojas make that trade? Well, I don't think Rojas has the trade value that Justin Crawford does. Has Clase play or Clase? Has Quan played center field? I know he's listed as a left fielder. Could you put Marsh in left field and Quan in center? Would that be better? I don't know. Mick Abel looked very good last night. He may have gotten the message. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what did he? Was it 6 or 7 innings? He threw a no-hitter before he was pulled from the game. So great for Mick Abel to straighten it out, get his trade value back up. If you're not trading Andrew Painter, either Andrew Painter or Mick Abel will not be in the Phillies organization come July 31st or whatever the trade deadline is. I firmly believe that one of those two pitchers will not be in our situation in our organization this year. Miller's ERA is a little higher this year, but he's played in a minor league stadium on a shit team. Yeah, okay. So I mean, I'm not shocked by that. I mean, we played the A's out there in that minor league stadium. We know how much of a disaster that stadium is to play in. There's no doubt that Mason Miller is an elite closer, something that we don't have. I don't believe that the difference in winning the World Series is that profound. I think bringing those guys in might improve their chances by so I say 50 to 90%, and they're just made up numbers, right? You're saying 50 to 55%. See, I disagree, especially on the pitching side of things, Anthony. You cannot go into the playoffs with Strom, Kirkering, and Romano as your top 3 relievers. You just can't. And expect to win come October. If Jordan Romano, I saw a stat the other day, I forget who posted it, that Jordan Romano could go 29 straight scoreless innings and his ERA would still not dip below 4.0. 29 straight. That's how bad that man's been. But yet he still gets trotted out there all the time. Why? Because there are no other options. Rooker's just another dude that does what we already do. His right-handedness doesn't move the needle for me. Yeah, I agree. Look, I like the theory. If our team was built differently, I would like the theory of Rooker. But Rooker is just another guy that does exactly what we do already. We have 5 Rookers on this team already. Maybe not as good as Rooker, but we have 5 people that play that role. We need that guy like Quan that slaps base hits, gets on base, that plays great defense. That is what this team lacks. Phil, when that picture by your elbow? What? This picture? What about it? A.J. Brown photo signed by A.J. Brown. It's going to be part of the raffle that we were running throughout August. If you want to trade Castellanos, well, I mean, I get it, but he's our best outfielder right now. Barkley is goated, absolutely. I wish there was a Scandinavian and African baseball players filled with this. Yes, absolutely. Anything I could do to make you laugh, What about players from Baltics? Yeah, I don't even know who's from the Baltics. Imagine Bohm always being able to bat B. What? Imagine Bohm always being able to bat B. I don't understand that. I only listen to the 80s. Joel, what? I'd take Quan or Rooker. Both are upgrades. Quan is a much bigger upgrade, Rick. That's the thing. Rooker, is he a bigger upgrade? Like a big upgrade? He's not. I think he barely moves the needle. Like where Anthony thinks it's 50 to 55% with making these big trades. I would say Rooker would be a 55, the 5% upgrade. I think Quan would be that 30, 40% upgrade, in my opinion. Imagine Bohm being able to bat with the first base side open all the time behind Quan. Yeah. So you would go. So would your lineup be Turner, Quam, Bohm 3? No, you'd still have Harper in the 3-0. How would your lineup look if you went out and got Quan? Negative WAR player this year. He's the worst defensive player in baseball. Look, a lot of what you're saying is right. But on this team, in this team, there's a lot bigger holes and issues to deal with than worrying about Nick Castellanos at this point. Give Jane just one of Hurts' tons of weapons and blinders full of players. What? Jane Daniels, I've given nothing but respect to Jane Daniels. Nothing but respect to him. You just described my posting behavior. Rooker batting 270 with 19 home runs. Are you kidding me? He's a huge upgrade. But again, what are you doing? You get Rooker, Rick. What are you going to do? You're going to make our already bad outfield defense even worse by either putting him in left field or putting Kyle Schwarber in outfield or rotating the two in left field. So, yeah, you might make our offense a little bit better. But you make our defense that much worse, except for the contract part, yeah. Phil has no NFL merch. I mean, you've got an A.J. Brown thing. You've got an Eagles football with autographs. There are plenty of football merch. I like my Phillies decorations back there right now. Guys, you're watching Trade the Game. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you haven't already, share. If you haven't already, subscribe. All you do, if you share this on one social media platform and tell people to subscribe, boom, right through the roof. Make sure you guys vote. We got 10 votes so far in the poll. Where's Nick Sirianni in your head coaching rankings? To me, he's an elite head coach. And just like Jalen Hurts, doesn't get the respect he deserves. We're talking that. We're talking these lists with Nick Sirianni, 8th, 9th in the head coaching ranks. We're talking about all that. We're talking Phillies at the trade deadline. And also throwing it in there, whoever watched Wednesday's game, did one game of 4 for 6, 3 doubles and a home run, tell you that Bryce Harper's back. I've been a little concerned with Bryce Harper since he returned from his injury. He's looked a little off. One game, a really good swing, and we'll see. The Jim Thome fathead is a little dated. Don't make fun of my Jim Thome fathead. It's not a fat. It's one of those sticks they hand out at games with people's heads on them. You can even see the stick right there. Rooker in the ballpark is a nightmare for opposing pitchers. You're talking about defense, while most shows previous to this about offense. Look, the offense and defense are both part of the conversation. And I agree. I just think this team is very repetitive on the style of players they need. They need a base hit guy. They need a guy that can hit 300. They do need defense to help as well. I could be on Rumble, Kick, and Twitch, but why? Why should I? I used to be on Twitch, and nobody watched this on there. You need a huge Nick Sirianni fathead. Well, because I think he's an elite head coach, send me one, and I think there's space. I could put it right here, right along the wall here. I'll put the Nick Sirianni fathead. Find me one, send it to me, and I'll put it up. I'll even put your name on it. Rooker lacks speed and defensive ability. On some days, he seems like Darren Ruff being able to just concentrate on just offense. Some baseball folks like J.J. Picola feel that way anyway. Look, you're accurate in this. I mean, I don't want to compare him to Darren Ruff. He's a much better hitter than Darren Ruff ever even had the potential to be, in my opinion. But Harper is back. So after one game, I'm not debating you on this. I'm just asking. After one game, that's enough for you? I'd like to see how he responds today. And we got a really tough series in San Diego this weekend. Yu Darvish, who's just coming back from an injured stint, he goes in tomorrow's game. I forget who tonight's pitcher is. Solid pitcher. Our old friend Nick Pivetta, who's freaking borderline Cy Young candidate this year, pitching on Sunday afternoon. Big series for the Phillies in San Diego this weekend. I'd like to see Harper have a strong series this weekend, get healthy over the All-Star break, or finish getting healthy over the All-Star break, and then have a great second half and final run. But one game, I know everybody's tweeting out, oh, he's back 4 for 6. Let's see 2 or 3 games. Maybe not 4 for 6 each game, but let's see 2 or 3 games before I'm 100% on that one. Rojas is phenomenal defensively. What's that doing for us? That's fair. It's very fair. He's just that bad of a hitter. And also, I think Rojas gets a little hate. He's not supposed to be a platoon player. You notice this when Marsh was on the injured list, he was playing really, really well in an everyday role. His average was creeping up. Then when Marsh came back and he started to be in a rotational player again, the situation was getting less and less. Guarantee I will make better money on Rumble. Well, I don't know. Rooker is an upgrade to every single outfielder on this team right now. At the plate, but he's a downgrade everywhere, maybe even to Nick Castellanos on the field. Phil would blow up on Rumble. I don't even know what Rumble is. I don't. Who has time to build new channels? Like, I barely have time to do what I do right now. He might even get Kyrie to do it. No, don't want him anywhere near my store right now. Rojas or Rooker or Quan. I mean, I would take Quan as my top choice. Right now, out of the names we've discussed, I would take Quan as the addition and subtraction of Rojas in the outfield. Actually, I'd want him to subtract Bex Kepler from the outfield. Rojas could stay. Hey, maybe a team sees some potential in Rojas, and maybe he's the extra piece. Maybe you put together a package for Quan and Clase. I'm just going to say Clase because it's Clase to me. Quan and Clase. You got 2 or 3 prospects there, and they're like, you know what? How about Rojas? Does that sweeten the pot enough for you? Young guy that can play defense, has got speed. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here on these prospects. But one thing is for sure. They need to add somebody to the outfield, and they need to add potentially 2 names to the bullpen. They just have to. And after this weekend, after the All-Star break passes next week, and we come back to playing baseball, Friday next week, then at that point, it's really going to heat up. It's really going to start really churning out the rumors. Nah, Dave Port won't come to my shop. So you could turn on and stream on 2 channels. What? I don't know. I don't want to learn any more streaming apps. I don't want to learn Bumble. I don't want to learn Twitch. I barely have time to learn everything I need to learn about YouTube and put this together the way I do. Don't need any more. But maybe for you, I will. Exactly. But anyway, really tough weekend series here. Now, I will say this. I said I don't really care about All-Star games. I don't care about the festivities of the All-Star break. I mean, I do watch the Home Run Derby. I will watch the Home Run Derby. It's fun in the moment to an extent. Maybe not. I don't really care about the All-Star break. One good thing about the All-Star break, okay, maybe, potentially. Now, Zach Wheeler pitches on Saturday. The All-Star game's what, Tuesday? Do we actually get to keep Zach Wheeler from pitching the All-Star break game so he can actually get some rest on that arm? That would be huge. I don't want him pitching in the All-Star. I know everybody. I saw somebody got pulled from the All-Star game with an injury and not a Philly got added to the game. I do not need a single Phillies pitcher pitching in the All-Star game. Not one. You got to shout out my podcast. Oh, thank you. I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I wasn't feeling too well last night. I was in bed by like 9:30 last night. I think my lights were out before 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. last night. Quick rebound, though. I'm good today. The way it has become a seller's market, if you're giving up players, old people like Dave Dombrowski are going to feel robbed for a two-tool player. A younger GM may think differently. That's an interesting way to look at it, too. I like that. Where is your soundboard? It's right here. I know you like that. We'll play it again. We'll play the audience laugh. The audience laugh. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I will listen to the midcast. What? Home Run Derby was better during the steroid era. Absolutely, mister. What's up, my man? Hope you're well this morning. Look, the Home Run Derby's fun. I don't like the timer aspect of it now. I preferred the old school. You get 10 outs and that's it. I think they changed it too much. That's my opinion. But we've seen it ruin so many pitchers, so many hitters' swings. Bobby Abreu, Alec Boehm last year. It is what it is. But it's fun. See, the thing is, baseball still has the best all-star weekend or week. The Home Run Derby, the game itself is still better than the Pro Bowl, the NBA All-Star game, the NHL weekend. But it's still pointless the MLB. The only thing that makes the All-Star game important is the contract aspects, the bonuses for players. You know it. You know it. I did get it off of Timu. Absolutely. Definitely seller's market. Going to be tough for the Phillies to fill any of their holes. Sirianni is a good coach, but without Hurts, he doesn't succeed. And without Sirianni, Hurts doesn't succeed. So what head coach has ever been elite and successful without a good quarterback? Name me a head coach that's had great success, elite success, that had a bad quarterback. Just curious. When Brady Anderson hit 50 home runs, I knew something was up. Yeah. There was a lot of guys that hit a lot of home runs during that time frame that shouldn't have been hitting home runs. Brady Anderson is a big one right there for sure. That dude didn't even hit 50 home runs the rest of his career after that 1 year. That was an interesting time to be a baseball fan. We all knew what was going on. We all knew something was up during the McGuire-Sosa summer. What year was that, McGuire-Sosa? Is that like 96? I don't even remember what year it was. 98, something like that. Missed it without 2 number 1 wide receivers. Best. Always make it. So first, it's the reason why Hurts isn't good. Now all this edge is why Sirianni's not good. Cool. Sirianni don't do well. And what does Sean McDermott do? I mean, Jim McMahon was he wasn't a great quarterback, but Jim McMahon was a solid quarterback. He might not have been good when he got to Philadelphia at the end of his career, but Jim McMahon was still he was a better quarterback than some of the other Super Bowl winning quarterbacks out there, like the Trent Dilfers of the world or the Brad Johnsons. I wouldn't put Jim McMahon in that category. But again, even that, it's a rare form. The only problem for the Phils, there are other teams who just have a fuller cupboard of more attractive prospects. And that right there, Nooms, is why you've got to include in the conversation, not in the trade, in the conversation. Well, does Andrew Painter put us over the top? Does Justin Crawford put us over the top in this trade? And that's why I do. Because I think your window to win a World Series is there. And I, unlike Anthony, feel that it makes a big enough difference this year to make these big splash moves. There's no guarantees. Just like there's no guarantees that these prospects will be great baseball players or failures of baseball players, there's no guarantee we win a Super Bowl or a World Series. But I'm going to give myself the best chance possible. Will Josh Allen ever win a Super Bowl? It's so hard to say, no, he'll never win one. He's got another, probably all things considered, unless he got hurt really bad, got another 10-plus years in the league. I mean, he could win one. I mean, the AFC, the Chiefs might take a step back. You still got Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson to compete with. You got young rising teams like the Broncos. I won't say no, he'll definitely never win a Super Bowl. But right now, with Sean McDermott as his coach, Josh Allen with Sean McDermott will never win a Super Bowl. Doesn't mean just because McDermott and Allen choke arse doesn't mean what? That Hurts and Sirianni are great. I think Josh Allen with Sean McDermott would never win one. That's just my opinion. Because, yeah. I think it's so funny how people still hold Nick Sirianni and Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts originally accountable for having a great team and that they're not any part of the success of the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it's complete and total nonsense that that's even a part of the conversation. Nick Sirianni's not an elite head coach because he's got a great team. He's got a great quarterback and wide receiver and offensive line and defense. Jalen Hurts is not a great quarterback because of the same reasons. It's laughable. Completely laughable. Just because the Philadelphia Eagles have built an elite team, you hold them accountable for not being good at their jobs. There's not a coach. If I needed a coach just for 2025, there's not a coach in the NFL I would take ahead of Nick Sirianni. If I was trying to win the Super Bowl in 2025, Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes. That's it. That's it. Nobody else. They're my top two guys. Because results are all that matters. And those two, Sirianni and Hurts, have the results, and not for 1 year. It's not like they just came out of nowhere in 2024 and won a Super Bowl. Hurts and Sirianni have been on top of the NFL for 4 straight years. 4 straight playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years, and a championship. Again, outside of Reed and Mahomes, who else in the NFL has the track record over the last 4 years that Sirianni and Jalen Hurts has? Nobody. That's false, and I firmly believe that's false. 49ers had Montana had maybe the best head coach ever, and all pros and Hall of Famers everywhere, and no one says Joe Montana wasn't great. Anthony, fantastic point and pull right there. Yes, Joe Montana, arguably one of the top 10 or 15 quarterbacks of all time. Jerry Rice. Nobody holds Joe Montana responsible because he had Jerry Rice. Ridiculous. And actually, they went from Walsh to Seifert and still kept winning. So arguably, Montana carried the coach and the players on that team. Good morning, Steven Fuentes. Let me double check here. Goddard, Hall, Fitzpatrick, top 3. I got 2 of the top 3 on that leaderboard on my outright card. Does it hold? Do I get a win? Can I break my streak of losing in golf this week? Please. Burrow and Allen are elite quarterbacks. They're not on the same level as Jalen Hurts. And I would argue that Joe Burrow is definitely a step ahead of Josh Allen. It's Mahomes. It's Hurts, Mahomes, 1, 2. It's Burrow, 3. Then you could start the argument with Allen and Lamar Jackson at number 4. Good morning, Lil G. Hope you're good today. Breakdown Montana. Trump Montana is one of the great. 4-0 in the Super Bowl. If I already had great lieutenants, I would take, if I had need it done from the top down, I would not have taken it. His career, if I already had great lieutenants, I would take Nick Sirianni. If I had need it done from top down, I would not be taking Nick Sirianni yet. His career would need to play out over time for me. Okay, I get what you're saying, but did we have great lieutenants in 2022? We got to the Super Bowl. I mean, we had good lieutenants in 2022. And let's be honest, 2024 and 2023, we didn't have great lieutenants. Okay? We still made the playoffs, still won 11 games. 2024, we had a question mark. How to rebound, and he pulled it together. I think he's proven enough in his track record for 4 years. He's willing to evolve. He's willing to adapt. He's willing to do whatever it takes to get this team over the top. It's all about the right coach for the right situation. Absolutely agree, Nooms. I mean, if Andy Reid didn't go to the Chiefs and get Patrick Mahomes, would Andy Reid be considered a top 5, 10 head coach of all time? Maybe not. He'd still be considered a great head coach overall, but not the elite of the elite. So everything, is part of the situation there. But you can't hold players or coaches accountable that their success is only because of other people. And that's the argument I'm trying to make here. Just because Nick Sirianni's in the right situation doesn't mean he's a bad head coach or not an elite head coach. Just because Jalen Hurts has A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley does not mean he's not an elite quarterback. That's the conversation. Had a quarterback ever had a top O-line, top D2? Who cares what he's got? Who cares? You still have to win the games. The quarterback is the only person on the field that touches the ball on every play on offense. He's still got to make the decisions at the line. He's still got to do all the work. Lead. Keep everybody in check. Has nothing to do with the talent around him. Nick's best quality is adaptability. Nick can reach vets and rookies. Exactly. Not just the way he reaches the players, the way he pivots year to year. Nick Sirianni's a pass-first guy, but understood last year, hey, look, I got Saquon Barkley having a generational season. We're going to shift our philosophy and run the damn football. He's adaptable He's flexible. He's willing to evolve. He's willing to admit when he's wrong. All we could do is go by what we see. 80 yards, a half. That's it. Who cares? Stats don't matter. Wins, championship. You can have all the stats you want with Josh Allen. I'll keep all the Super Bowls, okay? Let me explain something to y'all about egotistical superstar athletes. They don't give a damn about the head coach. They only respect Sirianni because the alpha dog Hurts respects him. I actually think that's a really interesting comment there from you, Mister. Egotistical superstars don't care about the head coach. And this, if anything, Mister, this puts even more respect on Jalen Hurts' name. Jalen Hurts respects his head coach. So it's like the general, we'll put this in, not everybody liked General Patton. Good old blood and guts. His guts, your blood, right? But his captains and his sergeants respected him, and the foot soldiers, the infantry, followed their leaders into battle because they respected Patton. I love it. I love the way you phrase this here. This is even better for the Jalen Hurts support here. Niners had Rice, Taylor at wide receiver, Craig at running back, the best O-line, great defense. So there you go. Exactly. Haley was on their defense. I forget all the guys on their defense there. Charles Haley was one of them. Ronnie Lott was on that defense, Hall of Famer. I can't remember why I can't remember. I remember all the offensive players. I don't remember the defensive players there. Jim Kelly was same weapons, win suit. Jim Kelly had Andre Reed, James Lofton, Thurman Thomas. And I'm missing some there. Jim Kelly had a lot of talent. Bruce Smith on his defense. Okay? So you know what? The Bills had all the talent in the world, and they didn't win jack shit. Plain and simple. Hurts on 90 Bills. Hurts on the 90s Bills doesn't go 0 for 4 in the Super Bowl. They get at least 2 Super Bowls in that run. Okay? Montana was a fake. Then stop. There are many people that won't be sold on Hurts being number one until they see him against defenses trying to disproportionately stop the pass. Well, see, the thing is, they stopped the run, so he passed. When they tried to stop the pass, they ran the football. See, the thing is, because the team was built so well, you stop one aspect, then another aspect succeeds. And that's all that matters. I get it. I get what the population thinks. The population cares about it's the gambling and fantasy aspect of things. They care about stats way more than wins and losses and championships because they want their fantasy football team to do well. They want their same game parlays to win. They don't care. The general population, the general fans, the casual fans, they care about their gambling more than the actual team. Real fans know what's most important is wins and losses. And what's most important, bringing home a championship trophy. And see, the thing is, and this goes to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, where the fans care more about the stats than the wins. Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, they only care about one thing, the win, and hoisting that trophy, and doing everything they can this year to go back-to-back as champions. At least to break the NFC East curse of no back-to-backs for over 21 years. That's all they care about. I know. As I'm saying it, I'm thinking exactly what you're typing out. Still arguing against gambling. Yeah, I'm not arguing against gambling. I'm a degenerate. But I also know, that's why I also have, K1, a very, very, very firm rule on not gambling on the Eagles. Now, I'll bet my fun little $5 that they'll win the Super Bowl every year. Always do that. I'll always bet $5 on whoever the Eagles quarterback is to win the MVP. That's just some fun stuff. And I'll throw one or two fun $2 or $3 same game parlays out there just for fun. But I'll wager just low enough that I don't care if I win or lose. Now, on the flip side, I make big bets on other games every single week because I don't care about those teams. And I don't mind yelling, shouting, screaming, how dare you let me down. But I never bet big on my Philadelphia Eagles. Tanner McKee's improved his pocket mobility. Okay. Are you trying to bring the McKeisters back into the conversation? We don't need no McKeisters in this conversation today. Because then my man Rick will come out and say, oh, man, McKee's going to win us a Super Bowl. And I don't feel like dealing with that today. I don't feel like dealing with that conversation, please. Not really what's in my mind today of what I want to discuss. Guys, we've only got 10 likes on this video today. How is that even possible? We had like 22 on Wednesday's show. How we got only 10 likes on the video today? 547 subscribers. We're still kind of stuck in that little 550 range here. Guys, hit that like button, that share button, subscribe button, please. Please. I know, McKeester Nation will rise. Stop. They're going to start. You're going to see them coming through the cracks of the ground there. Casey was putting 8 in the box to stop the run in the Super Bowl, and Hurts dropped 40 on their defense. The same D that held Josh Allen under 30. Exactly. And that's what, and again, that is, Anthony, here's the thing. People will hold that against Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. Well, they stopped the run. Well, if Jalen Hurts didn't have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Well, if Joe Montana didn't have Jerry Rice and John Taylor. Same thing, right? If Patrick Mahomes didn't have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. If, I'm trying to think of teams. If Joe Burrow didn't have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. If Josh Allen didn't have, well, Josh Allen doesn't have anybody because he doesn't like anybody. Anyway, I'm trying to think of other quarterbacks over the last 20 years. Peyton Manning. Well, Peyton Manning actually didn't have much, and Tom Brady didn't have much to work with in their teams. But, yeah. Trying to keep me honest. Hurts is unproven. Now you just sound nonsensical. Now you just need to, you don't even know. His completion percentage is actually really good in the NFL, just so you know. You said Hurts unproven is the most nonsensical, idiotic thing. I have never muted anybody, but that's a mute-worthy comment potentially. Okay, just so you know. Yeah, Tom Brady didn't, exactly. Tom Brady had no. That's why Tom Brady is right now the greatest quarterback of all time. He did more with less than anybody, and on top of that, was never just like Jalen Hurts was never the highest paid quarterback in the league till the end of his career when he wasn't the best quarterback in the league anymore, which is crazy. Yeah, he's just doing his thing. He's just trying to stir the pot when he doesn't realize he's just sounding nonsensical. Sound like this. When I read Mad Chatter chat comments like that, I think like this. Oops. Did the soundboard? There it goes. Inside, that's what I hear when I read those comments. Go ahead, audit them. Go ahead. ESP said on his pod today that McCord has a special arm that McKee doesn't. Going to be interesting battle. Well, I don't think there's a battle for number 2, Anthony. There's not. There's a battle for 3 between Dorian Thompson-Robinson and McCord. It's McKee. There's literally, Anthony, in my mind, 0 chance that McCord beats out McKee for the number 2 quarterback spot. But that's about it there. But on the flip side of the equation, if a team loses a quarterback in training camp or in a preseason game and they call Howie Roseman and offer a 2nd-round pick for Tanner McKee, I'm 1,000% taking it. Hell, I would take a 3rd-round pick for Tanner McKee. I mean, 1,000%. Go for it. Done. Because if Jalen Hurts misses significant time, whether it's McKee or McCord, we're not winning many games. I remember some inconvenient truths. What? If Tom Brady didn't have cameras filming other teams' practices, well, that's another whole subject, okay? That's another whole can of worms and Pandora box that I don't even want to get into. And he wasn't filming. That was Bill Belichick doing that. The debate, we weren't even talking Jalen Hurts today. We're debating where Nick Sirianni ranks in the top 10. And you're ridiculous. You're the problem. You're the person that thinks that stats matter more than wins and championships. We know Russell Wilson is old. You got something else to say? You got something substantial to add to that. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts get the disrespect that they get because Howie Roseman's so good at his job, I guess, and builds championship teams. They don't get the respect they deserve because they don't care about how they win. We get into that whole ugly win conversation. They don't care if they win ugly or pretty. They just care about winning. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts aren't respected because they're not out there doing pink powder on camera. They're just going out to work every single day. Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni don't get the respect because they're not on social media flaunting stuff. That's the thing. These are just two guys that like football and just want to work on football every day. And they just want to win. Exactly. The rest of the league finds Sirianni and Jalen Hurts annoying. And they both embrace it because they don't care. Where Nick Sirianni is willing to adjust his football philosophies, okay? He's willing to pivot, pass to run, whatever. Take a step back from calling plays. All the things that Sirianni does well. The one thing he does not change is his personality and his style on how he leads. And while a lot of people in the league and fans don't like how Nick Sirianni does his job, he hasn't changed that at all. He stayed true to himself. He's kept his personality the same. And that's why the players, Jalen Hurts respects Nick Sirianni. So, as Mr. said, so the rest of the troops follow suit, right? The players respect Nick Sirianni to an extent because they respect the realness of who he is. He doesn't play anything fake. He's not fake at all. He just does it. He just goes about his business in a very, very basic way. And he doesn't let the outside noise affect him or the style of his game or style of his coaching. And that, to me, makes him deserve even more respect. Anyway, I didn't know we were going to be debating Jalen Hurts today. I thought we would debate Nick Sirianni, but I didn't know we were going to debate Jalen Hurts too. Because I'm pretty sure the Jalen Hurts debate is over and settled because Jalen Hurts is an elite quarterback. And Nick Sirianni is an elite head coach, and I don't care what anybody else says. And, he's going to be put to the test again this year, Nick Sirianni, and Jalen Hurts. Another new offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo. What's this now? 75 years in a row that Jalen Hurts is going to have a different play caller. It's kind of crazy. And yet, he'll still be held to a lower standard. Where your opinions matter. Yeah, your opinions do matter, okay? When I say this all the time. Your opinions matter. But I think y'all forget the caveat to that. It doesn't mean that I like your opinions or agree with your opinions. It just means they matter. Do I ever disagree with an opinion and not put that opinion up on the screen? You got to understand the real meaning of where your opinions matter. I've never said I'm not putting that opinion up on the screen. I put every opinion up there. Now, some of them, like TMZ or whatever the hell we're calling them today, Bills Need Edge, puts a nonsensical thing up. I'm going to call a spade and say it's an idiotic statement. Plain and simple. I don't care what your opinion. I care what everybody says. There's room for everyone's opinion on this show because that's what Trending in the AM is. STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk should be. I am not a constellation of contradictions. You are misinterpreting the tagline of the show. You don't understand what the show is all about. I'm not even going to humor trying to figure out if Nick's good. His players like him and play hard. Maybe that is, how hard do Sean McDermott's players play for him? How well does Sean McDermott lead his troops in the battle? Sean McDermott's failed how many times now? I mean, there's a lot of coaches I could put in the Sean McDermott overhyped train. Yeah, Mike Tomlin. Yeah, I mean, he wins a lot of football games. What's Mike Tomlin done in a long time? What's John Harbaugh done in the last decade? Far too many coaches get way too long of a leash. Yet Nick Sirianni just wins the Super Bowl and's been to 2 in the last 3 years, and yet his leash doesn't even get him top 5 respect in the league. It's kind of ridiculous. Well, that I appreciate, and that I agree. This we can all agree on who the greatest host in the morning is. Not me. But yeah. Maybe that is what coaching on NFL is. Respect enough to get the players to do their job. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what coaching is anywhere in sports. Coaching in sports is getting your players to buy into a philosophy. All right? This is the philosophy this year. This is the goal this year. This is how we're going to get there. Get on board. And if you can get everyone, you in the NFL, you got 53 men plus a practice squad. You got close to 70 guys on your roster that you've got to get 70 guys to buy in. It's probably one of the hardest things. Think about it. MLB, there's 26 guys on the roster. Basketball, there's 15. NFL, you got to get 70 guys all to buy in on the same philosophy, okay, to get to the ultimate goal of a Super Bowl. And Nick Sirianni does that. I still don't get how McDermott wasn't fired for the I kind of vaguely, he said something, I forget what. I'm not sure. We're not going to get political though about all that, okay? That's way too deep. I forget what it was that he said, but we're not going to start talking about that. But anyway, guys, we're at hour and 5 minutes. Trending in the AM. Like, share, subscribe, vote on the poll. Most of you are agreeing that he's the number one head coach in football, actually, right now, Nick Sirianni. Most of you think he's either 2 or 3, but only a few select of you think he's outside the top 4 so far at this point. But, guys, if you haven't hit those buttons, please, I greatly, greatly appreciate it. It means a lot to me. We got about 10 minutes left. I got 70 large pizzas to make by 12 o'clock today, so got to get into the shop by like 9:45 today. He gave a team speech where he praised the teamwork of the terrorists that did 9/11. Yes, I think that was about what I remember it. Yes. It's pretty awful. But even if you take that aside, how does he have a job? Because what's the team's done? He's wasting Josh Allen's career. 70 large pizzas. Someone called last night. I was about to walk out the door. It was like 7:55. I'm like, I'm going to close 5 minutes early. Phone rings, and I was like, I need 70 large pizzas by 12 o'clock tomorrow. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm not leaving yet. Got to prep some extra dough. So that's what I did. And I'm only down to one oven because one of my ovens broke again. So I got to make 70 large pizzas in one pizza oven by 11:50 because then I got to deliver them too. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun morning at the pizza shop. So yeah, that's that. But anyway, what's on tap? Next week, we're going to talk the MLB All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby on Monday for sure. We're going to talk a lot of football. I don't know if you guys realize this. We are speed limit, 55. 55. Away from the kickoff of the NFL season where our Eagles defend their title. 55 days away, guys. Nick is top 3 in NFL among head coaches. Jonathan, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for your comment. I have him 1 or 2. I think if it was just for this year, I would take Nick over Andy Reid. If we're talking big picture, Andy Reid's had more success than Nick Sirianni. That's it. If you put someone else other than Andy Reid ahead of Nick Sirianni, I'm just curious who that is. I'd be very curious to know if he's 3, who's your 1 and 2, Jonathan? Because I think it's just Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni. They're the class of the NFL. And the results over the last 4 years prove that, in my opinion. I'm surprised Josh Allen hasn't pushed for it. I am surprised. That to me tells me he just doesn't care. That he's content being a great regular season quarterback, that MVP trophy means more than a Super Bowl trophy to him. If you have an elite franchise quarterback and you're not winning, more times than not, if the quarterback says something to the GM or the owner, that coach is gone. But yes, Josh Allen just goes about his business, playing golf and chilling out and whatnot. Dude, I can't wait. We can agree on this one, too. We agree that you think I'm the best in the business. We agree on this. I can't wait to get back to the regular routine of Eagles football talk every day. I can't wait to start live streaming every single Eagles game. I think August 7th is the first preseason game. I know it's a Thursday night. I'll be live for that for sure. Thinking more about it, Nick is 1 or 2. Well, before you think more about it, who else would you have put up there in that category? I'm just curious, Jonathan. But to me, it's Nick Sirianni's a better modern coach than Andy Reid. He adjusts a little bit better, but Andy Reid has several decades of success to pull information from. So you want to say Andy Reid 1, Nick Sirianni 2? I won't hate on you for it. You want to say Nick 1, Andy 2? I won't hate on it. But I would love to know if there's an argument for somebody else. I don't think Sean Payton. Maybe Sean McVay would be the only one. Only one maybe is Sean McVay. Does anybody think Hurts would be okay if the Eagles not winning? No chance. Exactly. One bad year, and he'll say what he has to say. I thought Joe Gibbs was one of the best coaches. Yeah, I mean, I was young, obviously. I mean, I was born in 1980, Nooms. So maybe I didn't understand X's and O's of coaches, and I didn't break down coaches as well at that age when Gibbs was still the head coach of the Commanders. Well, the Redskins back then. But even I know that he was a great head coach. I'm going to live stream as long as business allows me to, as long as work allows me to. I mean, I'm the boss, so I can do whatever I want. We are going to go live for every single Eagles game. Now, the pivot to that means there'll probably not be a morning show the next day after a bunch of them because I'm not going to go live at 6:30 a.m. or 8 a.m. after doing a night game. But all the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games, I can still do a morning show. But yes, I will be live after during every single Eagles game this year. What's the last Super Bowl winning to come from the best division in football or even a good one? The last Super Bowl winner to come from the best division? Well, it depends on. I don't know. I mean, I guess the West has been pretty bad. I'm not sure, honestly. Obviously, you got to dominate your division to get to the playoffs. I don't know. Are you trying to say that Super Bowl champions are overrated because they come from weaker divisions? Like, I don't understand what you're getting at with this one. Gibbs is overrated. I don't know about that. 2 of his Super Bowls were strike shortened seasons. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Reason McDermott is so respected in Buffalo, even though he stinks, is that he does get the players to give some effort. Oh, so some effort is good enough. I want 100% effort from my players and my staff at work. Okay? Plain and simple. Tyrod Taylor even got them to a playoff. Look, I don't know. Sean McDermott, overrated. That's all I'll say about that one right there. What else is on docket next week? Lots of Eagles talk. Lots of Phillies and All-Star break talk. Lots of Phillies trade deadline rumors talk next week. Maybe even a trade. Who knows? I doubt we'll talk Sixers at all next week. Thank God, right? In Buffalo, any effort is big, I guess, yeah. I mean, you got to make effort just to even wake up in Buffalo on a daily basis. I would put Andy and Sean Payton. McVay, the Rams head coach, doesn't impress me. See, the thing is, Sean Payton doesn't impress me. Sean Payton was a really good head coach 15 years ago. And then he quit on the Saints. I really thought to go to Dallas, and that never happened. And he had a good year coaching Denver last year with Bo Nix. He got a lot out of a rookie quarterback. But I'm not putting Payton ahead of Nick Sirianni at this point in time. I'm not. I'd put McVay over Payton at this point. Bitchy poo. Nobody wants to talk VJ Edgecombe and his thoracic finger syndrome. Exactly. Sixers talk will never do it. Never. Ever. Philly be 5th or 4th biggest city in America. Buffalo is like 200. Exactly. Because nobody wants to go to Buffalo. Even if Buffalo tried to increase their population, everyone would be like, no. Basically, you're just an extension. If Canada tried to annex Buffalo to make it Canadian, nobody would even stop it. I don't know. I don't know whether I'd rather talk about how much I hate Daryl Morey or Aaron Rodgers more at this point. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to choose between. Which one would I rather hate more on the show? Buffalo is the Omaha of the East. Buffalo is just an extension of Canada, basically. I don't even know how close it is to Canada, honestly. I'm just joking about that. All of New York just get annexed to Canada. We just give it to them, whatever. We don't need them. We don't need New York, especially northern New York. Anyway, it's almost time to say goodbye to my friends and family. Most Super Bowl winners these days come from ass divisions. The NFC East would generate winners with multiple top 10 teams on the regular. Look, I mean, last year, the East had the Eagles with their win, and they won the Super Bowl. The Commanders were right there as well. Commanders had, 11 wins? So they were a good team. The Cowboys weren't good last year, and the Giants stink. But there were 2 great teams there in that division last year. Last year, the West, the AFC West had several good teams in the Broncos and Chiefs, and Chargers were up and coming. Yeah, the NFC North had 3 very good teams, had a great division overall, and they didn't, but, they choked stuff away in that division. Riverside, yeah, well, Riverside sucks. I drove past Hershey and Foxes and Hershey. Yeah, you said that earlier in the week. Cool. It means you were in Hershey, only an hour or so from me, and you chose not to come say hello, unless you did in incognito. Anyway, guys, I got to wrap this up. I got to get to work. I got to go make the pizzas. I got to go make the dough. I got to go make money to pay actual bills. This does not do that, but we'll be back next week with another jam-packed week of shows, of course. Right now, I have no catering on the board, so as of this moment, we should have a full 5 for 5 week next week, but you never know. Catering's been big lately. Been getting a lot of catering orders lately, which is great because the summertime is my slowest time of the year, and I got a lot of bills to pay, so I need those catering orders. So when you don't see me on the morning, it just normally means had a big catering order. Unfortunately, the catering orders take precedent over the show. Got to do that. Got to say that. But, it is what it is. But anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up. If you haven't yet and you're watching this on replay, hit like, hit share, hit subscribe. Greatly appreciate all that. If everybody could find me 2 new subscribers this weekend, it would mean the world to me. To be an entrepreneur, you have to put in 80% effort and 20% leisure. To be an employee, it's 20%. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. It's more like 100% effort and 0% leisure these days, but that's just what that is, mister. That's just the workforce right now that we have to deal with in the food business right now. But it is. Money more important than Mitch's. Mitch, yeah, absolutely. Damn, I just realized my birthday is tomorrow. Damn, wow. Happy birthday tomorrow, Nooms. Happy birthday to you. Anyway, guys, everybody have a great weekend. Nooms, you have a fantastic birthday. How do you even forget it's your birthday? But anyway, everybody have a great weekend. We'll talk Monday. Overreaction Monday. The All-Star break. Football. Everything. Anthony, you have a great weekend as well. Everybody, thank you very much. Great week. Guys, we'll talk on Monday. Go Birds. Bubbles up.